Okay. So, what is your favorite type of literature to read or experience?
True stories, World War II,
Okay.
Europe, European theater.
Okay. European
The
theater?
European theater of World War II.
What is that? Oh,
As opposed to Japan.
Okay.
And
I thought you meant
and biographies.
Okay. So, what is your favorite book you ever read?
My favorite book, actually, well, it wasn't any of those. It was one of my favorites. Two books, tied for first: They Thirst and Swan Song.
Tell me about them.
They Thirst was about vampires.
Okay, tell me about it.
But it was written.
Why was your favorite?
Because of the way it was written.
Okay, go ahead for it.
It was written completely matter-of-factly, like there's no reason why we shouldn't believe in vampires. It just was very, very well written.
Okay,
And Swan Song the book opened in World War III, which was a nuclear war, and the entire Earth was destroyed, and the whole book was about civilization coming back. It was also extremely well written.
Okay. What's your least favorite book you ever read?
My least favorite book that I ever read. I'm trying to think. Well, it's been a while that I haven't read just what I want to read. So most of what I read is what I want to.
What was it that we read something that's like, oh, that was terrible?
Salman Rushdie. What was the name of that book? It was a bestseller. Satanic Verses.
Tell me about it.
Horribly written, juvenile.
Okay.
I mean, the imagery, it was just one of the worst written books. Couldn't follow it. I don't even know what it was about.
Wow, okay.
Horrible.
Okay. So, what influence has literature had in your life?
It's probably helped my imagination. Literature, if you're well read, you can tell how well read someone is by how they speak, because the way they can communicate, how they can describe things. I get a lot of relaxation and pleasure out of reading. Love it. Plus, you learn a lot.
Okay.
You can become an expert on any subject.
Okay. Do you like to experience literature live? Like, do you like any audiobooks, or do you like, that's not really live, but do you like listen to books, or do you like to go see live shows?
No, I'd rather read a book. If my three choices for a story, listen to it, see it, read it, I would rather read it.
Do you like live theater?
Yeah.
I mean, that's literature.
Yeah, but I mean, if there was a topic or a book, and I had three ways I could get it, audio, theater, read, I would rather read. Because then I control the pace, I can use my own imagination.
Okay. Has literature been important to you your entire life?
Yeah. I've been reading a book a month since second grade. I constantly read, mostly for enjoyment, but to learn, because now I don't read. I stopped reading fiction a long time ago, although my two favorite books are fiction. I know more about World War II in Europe than a lot of people, just because I read books on every aspect. I just finished one just yesterday.
Okay. So, do you like to read one book at a time, or do you like to spread yourself out?
I read two books at a time, a self-improvement book and then a book for pleasure.
Okay. Do you like to read things that challenge your beliefs, or only like to read things that kind of agree with you?
I like to read about certain topics. So and I don't really
Well, you've read a lot of political books, and
I've read a handful of political books.
Okay. Do you like to read stuff that agrees with you, or things that don't? Like, do you like to open your eyes to hear the other side?
There's enough on the news that I can usually come to an opinion.
Yeah, but do you like to listen to news that only agrees with you, or do you like to listen?
No, I don't have to listen to news that only agrees to me. I'm not like a left winger where they only need to listen to what they agree with. They can only handle what they can agree with. I'm open.
You do realize every part of everything you said is going into this project.
Oh, do you want me to say more? I have more to say.
No, we're going to talk about literature.
Okay.
Okay. If you met an individual who didn't like reading, had no interest in it, how would you try to convince them? What would you tell them to try to embed that interest in them to go out and seek experiences with literature?
Well, I would ask them what they were interested in, why they got interested in it, how much they know about it, would they like to know more about it.
So what is the reason?
On every topic, there's books on every aspect of every topic.
Okay, so, okay.
I mean, people have to be curious about learning, and they have to be disciplined about reading, or it's going to be hard to convince them.
Well, why should someone do that?
Because they're going to learn something. But if they're not curious enough to want to learn anything, they might not be inclined to pick up a book.
Okay. Do you like any contemporary books? Or do you like to prefer older text?
No. Contemporary books.
So you stopped reading fiction. So
I stopped reading fiction a while ago. And I started reading, because I got very interested, I started reading a lot of history books, and then gravitated to the Holocaust, World War II. And I can't seem to get enough of those books. I just finished reading two in the last 3 weeks. So I do like history.
Historical literature?
Yeah.
Like historical fiction?
No.
Just true stories?
True stories. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of time for fiction, because I don't have a lot of time. And if I'm going to read something, I'd rather learn about something real than fiction.
Okay. All right, well, I think that's enough for the interview. Thank you very much.